talk about being delusional. Is being delulu asolulu? Or maybe you need a lucky girl syndrome. All of these are just fancy new terms for the same thing. It's essentially manifestation. If you know me in real life or watched any of my videos, you probably know that I am the biggest fan of law of assumption. So what actually is law of assumption? And what is the difference between law of assumption and law of attraction, which I'm sure most of you have heard about at some point in life? So law of assumption is a theory that what we assume is true, that's eventually going to manifest. So the key difference between law of assumption and law of attraction is that the law of attraction is all about like positive thinking and vibration, and you need to be aware of your thoughts because your thought manifests. So if you're going to keep thinking positive things are going to happen, but beware. If you're negative and if you're in low vibration, low mood, you're going to bring bad things to your life. But law of assumption says that you basically manifesting the things into your existence by just assuming that you already have them. So you basically have to think that what you want, you already have, and you assume that you are this kind of person who has those things. So you don't need to worry about, low mood or like getting on like high vibration and stuff like that. Because honestly, it's kind of like a toxic positivity and unsustainable. If you want to read more about law of assumption, I highly recommend reading some of Neville Goddard's books. I'm gonna write everything down in the description, but it's literally life-changing. I'm nowhere near to be an expert, but I've manifested a couple of things in my life, and his teachings just make everything so clear. Practicing law of assumptions is one of my rules for my glow up challenge. I want to do it daily because I know it works. And I'm sure you want to see some proof. So let's go, because I've manifested so many things in my life. You might laugh at me and think I'm crazy, but who cares? I'm winning. So when I first learned about law of attraction, because that's where I start, and I think that's where most of people start because it's like a very popular term, and because of the book Secret and all of that. But if you really like invested in a subject, you're eventually gonna grow into law of assumption. Anyways, when I first learned about it, I lived in the US. I was an au pair. So by the time I was in Texas and my year was coming to an end, and when you're an au pair in America, you can extend your stay for another year, and you can stay with the same family, or you can do a rematch and go somewhere else. And that's what I wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but I didn't want to spend my second year in Texas. I wanted to go to New York. And I was being very delusional. So basically, what's happening, I think it's been 10 years now, so I might be wrong, but I think you have like a month to choose a new family, or 2 weeks, something like that, which is not a lot of time. So they reopen your profile on the portal and you get to you match with families. And let me tell you, none of them were from New York. None of them. I had like one from Virginia. Most of them were from California, and I really didn't want to do that. I really, really wanted to go to New York. So I was being very delusional because I knew if I'm not going to find a family on time, I'm going to have to go back home. But I really didn't want to do that. I really wanted to extend, but I was just thinking, nah, I'm gonna find a family from New York. I was like non-stop listening to Frank Sinatra and all of like New York songs. I even made a fake plane ticket. I called it like Universe Airlines from Austin to New York. And I was nearing to the end of my program. I remember it was like, I think 3 or 4 days left, and I still didn't have anywhere to go, and I was still like, nah, I'm gonna be in New York. So it was like rejecting every other family. It was just being like, I just assumed this is gonna happen. And then literally 2 days before, I matched with a family from Staten Island, which is one of the boroughs in New York. That ended up kind of terrible. You can watch my video, an entire video about it. I was basically held hostage. Go and watch it. But then I went into rematch after I think like 2 weeks, and ended up in New Jersey, and it was only 30 minutes to Manhattan, and I had a very lovely family, and I met with them last year when I went to New York, and I'm gonna see them again now that I'm gonna go. So everything turns out great, and I live 30 minutes from Manhattan. I was there a couple of times a week, and it was just amazing. And honestly, I was just so sure that I'm gonna live in New York that you would think that was a very risky behavior, because it was. I almost ended up being like kicked off the program because I didn't find a family. But New York, I just assumed that everything's gonna work out, and it did. Proof. And then when I moved back home, I didn't have any job experience, like literally nothing. So I moved to US when I was 22. So that was like right after uni. I just freshly graduated. So I never had like a real job. I had like, I work at Subway and random factory over the summer, stuff like that. But I never had like an office job. I never had like proper job experience. So when I came back home, chances of me getting a good job were pretty slim. But again, delusional. I got a great job and I stayed there for 4 years. I was working as a project manager in a printing house. I knew nothing about printing. The only thing that I knew was English. And I think that's what got me this job, but also me being really, really delusional. Same thing happened last year. I got my dream job. I can safely say that I manifested it. I was visualizing having a great job. I even put in my head that my office is gonna be in London, and guess what? My office is in London and I'm gonna be moving there this year. Like, I kid you not. I was going to sleep every night just visualizing being in like a great office with amazing coworkers, and that's exactly what it is now. And last year I created my first vision board in years, and I'm just gonna tell you what came true, because I have it, I still have it in my room and I sometimes look at it, but I was just like not really paying attention to what already has manifested or not. And I think last month I was looking at it thinking, wow, holy shit, so many things came true. So I think the biggest one is New York. I put it on my vision board because I missed it so much and I have not been since I left in 2014. And honestly, when I was making that vision board, I had no idea that I'm gonna be able to go. And then I went last October. Also, MacBook and money. I'm making more money than I did in the past. And guess what my work laptop is? Palm trees. I went to Sicily last year and there were so many palm trees there. And I've not been to Italy before and it was just amazing. And then lots of traveling. So last year I did travel a lot actually. I went to Berlin, I went to London a couple of times. I went to New York, I went to Sicily, and then this year I already went to the US once. I'm going again in 2 weeks. It's very exciting stuff. And then healthy lifestyle and exercise. Last year was the time that I started going to the gym regularly. I hired a personal trainer and I'm going to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. I've never been this consistent. And self-care. And this is the one that also came true because I've never been this invested in like self-development and self-care and all of that. So as you can see, it does really, really work. I have some amazing examples. So you might wonder, Daria, how did you do it? What should I do? I'm not gonna let you turn off this video without telling you all the details. All the details. But one disclaimer. Law of assumption is very simple, but it's not easy. You might ask, oh, if you're that smart and if you know how to manifest, why are you not a millionaire? Why are you not in like the best relationship of your life? Why are you not rich and famous yet? Well, like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy. We all have assumptions about ourselves. We have limiting beliefs, and I know I have a lot. Most of them revolve around relationship. I feel like, because I've never been in a long-term relationship, I feel like this is impossible for me. So even if I try and manifest someone, I still have that limiting belief and I still deep down subconsciously don't believe that's possible for me. So if I'm not gonna deal with that, I'm not going to be able to manifest a great love in my life. Same with money. I didn't grow up rich. My parents were always like conscious about money, and whenever I wanted to do something, my dad would always ask, oh, do you have money for that? So I kind of grew up with this feeling of lack. I was not poor. We were not struggling to the point that we didn't have food on our table. But my first flight was when I was 22 and I was flying to America to become an au pair. So I never had this amazing relationship with money, and I never believed that it's like truly, truly possible for me to be rich and not have to worry about money. So this is what I'm currently working on. I am reading this book, Rich as Fuck, which I already recommended here. And I'm doing a lot of like inner work. So what I can recommend for you to do to deal with those limiting beliefs is, first of all, affirmations. These are literally magical. Like, I highly recommend them. I think I became more confident because I was doing a lot of like self-concept affirmations. They honestly work wonders. The other one is subliminals. I'm currently listening to weightless subliminals and also like shadow work, inner work. I use journaling for that, and I just find prompts on Google, on Pinterest. I would recommend to reading a bit more into limiting beliefs and self-concept, because this is crucial to manifest anything. Because if you don't believe that you are worthy and something is possible for you, you'll never, I'm sorry, but you're never going to manifest that. There's some things that you can manifest easily like that because you have no attachment to it and you don't have any limiting beliefs and your self-concept is on point with this. But there's some things that just, you know, you don't think you're inherently worthy of that. So this is the first thing you need to change. If you change that, then everything is just going to be so much easier. The other tip, obviously, to do a vision board. I love vision boards. I love the visual representations of what I want. The way I do it usually once a year. In end of December, I just go on Pinterest and I create a new board and I just pin all the pictures that kind of symbolize what I want to achieve. And then I put them together in Canva and I like to print it out and I put it as my desktop background. I also like even have it on my phone. Like, this is my vision board for this year. And every time I look at it, I just think of how it'd be to be in this place. And I think that really works because my vision board from a previous year, you saw a lot of things came true. My ultimate favorite technique is scripting. Beautiful. What you do is take a pen and notebook. You can do it on your laptop as well, but there's something about like pen and paper. It just hits differently. So take a pen and paper and just write about your ideal life, but from the perspective that it already happened. The way I do it, I just write like a story and tell about like how I'm so grateful that I'm already a millionaire and I have so much money, more money than I could ever know what to do with. And then I describe how it makes me feel, and I write all the freaking details, and it first of all, it puts me in such a good mood. And second of all, it's a very good tool. Another one is magic. And it does work like magic. So Magic is a book by, I'm going to butcher her name. It's Rhonda Byrne. I don't know. It is the same lady that wrote The Secret, which is the book about law of attraction. And I know I was dissing law of attraction previously, but the book is amazing because it's just gratitude practice. And if you feel grateful, you put yourself in such a better mood and everything just goes more smoothly, first of all. And second of all, part of this practice is to be grateful for the things that you want and don't have already. And honestly, that is such a great way to manifest, to feel thankful for the things that you want as you already have them. And honestly, each time I did the magic, literally magical things happened. Each time I manifested something. So honestly, go and try it. You can find it online for free. You're not heard it from me. And last but not least, visualization. Ugh, there's nothing better than a little bit of daydreaming, because that's essentially what it is. You have to imagine yourself in a situation when your dreams already came true, or like in a situation when you, for example, telling someone, okay, let's imagine that your goal is to win lottery. So in your head, you will create a scenario. For example, you're calling your mom and telling her that you won the lottery. So think about what you're wearing. Where are you? How your mom sounds. What's the weather? What's the temperature? Everything. Your surroundings. And then just replay that in your head before you go to sleep. Apparently that time before you drift off is apparently the best time, because like you can then alter your subconscious mind. But beware of one thing: never visualize yourself in like a third person. It's not like watching a movie when you see yourself, but think of it as like normally you would. Why would you, like, you know, you see your hands, you don't see yourself from like out of your body experience, you know what I mean? It's not, you're not watching a movie, you're seeing the world through your eyes. So do it like that. I use this technique to manifest my dream job, and honestly, it freaking worked wonders. And it didn't even have to do that for a long time. Like I think it took me like a few weeks to manifest it. So yeah, I honestly think that the Lulu is the Lulu. You just have to believe that what you want, you already have, and boom, there you have it.